The prior podcast show, ladies and gentlemen. If you missed any of the prior podcasts of the Megabyte podcast, you can now listen to each episode of the Megabyte podcast at anchor.fm/squeamish cactus. That is anchor.fm/squeamish cactus. There's a variety of things, or you can simply go to spotify.com and search the Megabyte podcast in the search bar. Be sure to hit and follow and subscribe buttons to save those playlists for future episodes when they become available. And speaking of that, we're going to make another episode today. Let's talk about some various updates, including some things on the PC world.
Yes, sir.
This Valheim. It's about time, Valheim.
Right? It's only been months.
Let me check. Let me check my calendar here, Lord. That was back in 1886. Jesus
Look
Christ!
on Steam last time played.
What the hell took him so long? Like, seriously, like, what the hell is taking these people so long? Time out. We all know 2020 happened. I gotcha. But there's a ton of different, like,
oh, it's money. Thank you.
Places that have done various different things. You know, they have done different
various updates.
Right. They sure have. They've done different things, you know, the various different updates. But I don't know, man, what is going on with this stuff? Well, here, okay. So let me, you know, let me
a little and explain the update.
Well, okay, so they're if you watch, they have a trail. Okay, I forgot what they call it necessarily, but there's a trail where a list of updates, and one of those things that they've been promising us like 5 years ago was the home and hearth, the hearth at home or whatever it's called, right? Hearth and home. So the thing is there's going to be new recipes, there's going to be new meals, and the ability, are you ready for this? To puke them up when you need to.
What? Why? Why would you need to?
I mean, if you ate like raw fish or something, I could see it, but
I could see that. But all the food?
I guess you could just cook any new meals that you make up specifically. You can just right out of the can, I guess. The update is supposed to be arrives around. It's around the corner, September 16th.
That is
so. Yeah, it's just a few weeks away, a couple of weeks away. New ingredients. Okay, are you ready for this? This is pretty cool. They've got new food that you can eat or you've ate. Will barf it up, which is. Okay. So
it's interesting to say.
It is. So there's different types of meat. When you kill a deer, a wolf, or a boar, for example, you know how it's always just a meat or whatever it is. Well, now it will become different types of meat, which would make it more realistic, if you will. So like if you kill
you'll be able to like differentiate between.
Exactly. You'll be able to do like all that stuff, you know. You'll be able to say, if I kill a boar, it'll probably say boar meat or deer meat, etc., etc. Now it makes me wonder, are the ingredients or are the levels for those said things, like is the boar meat going to give me more HP than deer meat because it's a bigger, you know, heartier meat? I don't know.
A more sustainable hearty meat.
Exactly. There's going to be onions that will now become a farmable source, which is kind of interesting, you know. So you can have bad breath as you puke. I don't know. The cauldrons, you know, the cooking cauldrons will be extendable and upgradable. It's kind of weird, you know. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, some cool things down the road. I don't know. We'll see. That comes out on the 16th.
That's interesting. I mean, it's definitely much needed because I feel like the game has died down a little since it was like all the rage like 2 months ago.
I'm telling you, Valheim, when it first came out, was just like with anything. It was
taken off.
I mean, it just, I could, you know, it's like a rocket man going to the moon, right? Everybody jumped on a wagon, including myself. I jumped on the wagon. I was gifted the game.
I did as well. Yeah, I was too.
And I decided to try it out. Now, at first I was like, don't like these kind of games, but it started growing on me. It really did. It started growing on me. I started getting into it more and more. And I thought, well, shit, this is pretty cool. But the the killer thing was the frame rates. That was a horrific experience for those new, the first beginning play days. Just like you and myself, we have pretty beefy PCs, so I shouldn't really be having these issues with frame rates
Well,
on a game like that.
You had a pretty beefy PC. I was still on a laptop at the time.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yes.
We won't go there.
But see, though, I mean, as time progressed, though, you obviously gotten yourself an awesome PC now. But
Yes.
those days when I was traveling around, there was some frame rate issues. There was, of course, the hitbox issues with the whole game. So I'm hoping they fix that eventually. I hope they fix the frame rate issue. They did. Part of it was because of the smoke that was billowing out of fires and stuff like that, which was really crazy. But we'll see. September 16th. I mean, am I gonna? I have people that have dedicated servers, and they haven't played them in a long time, so I don't think they have those said dedicated servers anymore. But we shall see.
So, have you ever played Apex?
I have played Apex. Yes.
I've played it a couple times, but I was doing some digging, and I found they're going to be patching something that a lot of people tend to like.
Okay.
And also tend to hate.
It's like
they're gonna have a patch to remove the popular movement exploit that has been known as tap strafing.
Oh, the cancel slides. I think that's what it's called.
It's the tactic allows people to change their trajectory in midair.
Oh, okay.
Maintaining momentum, so it's like they're a speeding bullet, and it's really hard to shoot at them.
Oh boy.
So, yeah.
Well,
Respawn announced on Twitter that they intended to patch that.
So people are okay. I think I understand that. Yeah. See, I've played the game. I haven't played it too much.
Yeah.
I call that one shoot, reload, shoot, because it's all it is. You're hitting shields.
Nothing.
And it's like you could go for like 5 clips, full clips of like 30 bullets. So that's 150 bullets, and it still doesn't do shit to them. I gave up on that game a long time ago. So they're getting rid of that now? They have a patch that's coming up?
Yeah. There's supposed to be a patch.
Well, people are going to be pissed about some of that.
But it doesn't say when there's supposed to be a patch.
But it's down the pipe down the road, I'm assuming.
It says on their Twitter, it says, after much consideration and debate, we've decided to remove tap strafing from Apex.
Oh.
In patch 10.1. Our reasoning, it's inaccessible, lacks readability and counterplay, and it is exasperated by movement abilities. Wow. The next patch notes will include more detailed notes about this.
Hey, I mean, if it benefits the good versus takes, then I'm all about it. Because I know some of those things that people do now. I've watched some big streamers play that game like religiously. They play it like nonstop, and they're really effing good. But then there's some people that you watch them play and stuff, and it's like they use that said specific exploit, if you will, and it gives them the upper advantage versus even us normal players, or your entry players and stuff. So yeah, okay, hey, if they're gonna help, now if they can only patch the damn people who mod in that game, I might go back to it if they fix that. There's people that hack in that game right and left. It's terrible.
There's people that hack in all the games, all the best games anyway.
Speak of what's between my ears, Dead Space. The reboot shows off. There's alien technology in this. I don't know if you've ever played Dead Space. Dead Space is kind of
not, but I've heard about it.
There's a remake in the works. Yeah, it's a creepy. How can I describe? It's like a sci-fi horror single person action alien game. So it's kind of like futuristic aliens. And there's a lot of jump scares because there's a lot of shit that scared me when I played it. And the gravity is to a degree kind of reminds me of Sea of Thieves, where everything the world becomes upside down and stuff. It's really weird.
Okay.
It's
Well.
really cool. I know. I mean, it's been what, 13 years since the original release? 13, 14 years. So yeah, they have dismemberments now coming into this game. There really wasn't too much details from what I had read, but they do a lot of stuff that's coming out too, and they'll be out soon. So it's in the process of being made. You know, you'll be able to players burn flesh and carve bone in all sorts of fun and interesting ways. Like if that's your forte, there you go. Have at it. You know.
I
But
mean, I like spooky games.
I think
But
I think you would probably like that. It's dark, up your alley. It's kind of alien creepy, kind of up your alley, I would assume. It's pretty good. I will admit, I have one true story. I do have one game I was gifted for Christmas years ago by a family member of the Dead Space something. I don't know what kind of edition it was. I've never touched it. It's still in its seal, never played it. They pissed me off, so I never played it.
so another game that really needs some updates.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know where I'm going with this one.
I think so.
Starts with a C.
Go
Yeah.
on.
So, Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, she said it. I didn't.
CD Projekt hired community mod makers to work on it.
Well, okay. Hey, that's a good idea. What the hell? You might as well if they can't figure it out.
Exactly. It's been months.
Oh, man.
Since, well, pretty close to a year now since Cyberpunk came out, right?
It's been, yeah, because it was hyped up pretty much in like fall of 2020. It was supposed to be the game that blew away for the game of the year and stuff. It was supposed to be really good. Like everybody wanted to play it, you know, to kind of take our minds away from the world.
Yep. But it's been almost a year, and there's still so many problems with it. There's so many bugs. I'm excited to see, you know, that they hired more people to help. Maybe it'll actually be playable. Because as someone who actually played it, it was horrible.
I've never played it, but like I've heard people like in your shoes who've said the same exact thing. It was absolutely horrible. It was framey. It would drop. I mean, we're talking people, you know,
people with good computers that could run this.
I'm talking people with 2070, 2080, GPUs before the 3000 series came out. And they were just boasting and they were saying how shitty it really was. The movement was really choppy. The cutscenes, the lips didn't match the cutscenes.
The lip movement was definitely not in sync. You would walk around, and if you paid attention, almost everyone had guns in their hands. Cars would clip and fly across the map. Fly into buildings, fly through the building.
Wee!
It was bad.
It was that bad, huh? Jesus.
It was bad. So wow. I'm actually excited to see what they do with it and maybe get back into it.
You know,
because I only got through like the prologue of it.
Yeah, and I've heard too, people were like we were mentioning, you know, I've watched a big streamer go through it. Well, I caught their VOD. I didn't see him live do it, but I caught the VOD and they were playing it and all of a sudden it's like freeze and crash, and then it would go and then it would be some points that like they got stuck, like they couldn't go back into the car, or they were like the bot wouldn't, the NPC would not go out of the car to travel to the next scene because they had to get out together and go to a building, so they were frozen, which is really weird. Well, I'm hoping it gets a facelift. Maybe it'll go to LA and get a facelift. I don't know, man.
Like I would get irritated at the game. I would rage. But looking back, it's all actually super funny bugs. Except for the part where they could see you through the walls. That was rage inducing.
Speaking of things that need a facelift, how about Windows 11?
okay, I'm excited for it, but I'm scared.
Now, I'm agreeing with you because you know how it is. The stuff we use today.
You know what just happened to me
I
when it
know.
came to Windows.
I know.
I'm excited, but I'm scared.
See, the thing with me is it every time Windows does a major patch or does an update, it always f's around with your audio or video qualities or streaming or whatever the case it is. It always kind of jacks it up.
Or
But
in my case, the motherboard.
yes. Now, which
I don't see
is
why Windows did that, but I just
I don't know. I don't know.
it's sad.
Now
What can you do?
Windows 11 is officially supposed to drop on October 5th, so we're about another month or so away. It'll begin on that day free upgrade. So it's a free upgrade to those who have Windows 10. For eligible Windows PCs. Now, I'm not really sure what the hell that means. The PCs that come preloaded with Windows 11 will start to become available for purchase. So from, I guess there's a cut date in October, anything more now they'll do that, you know. So the new designs and sounds they considered, quote, modern, fresh, clean, and beautiful, and bring you a sense of calm and ease. I mean, is this thing gonna like give me a massage and play like
right?
Yeah, kind of like monks in the background and rub me down with oils and lavender? I mean, when I hear fresh, clean, and
Light some
beautiful,
incense for me. And light a candle.
it uses the power of the cloud. A lot of things are going to clouds now. It's a plus and a minus. Microsoft 365 to show you recent files no matter what device you were viewing them on. So if you use your phone, you can now look at them no matter what device or computer you were looking through. You can now optimize that and see your recent files no matter what device you were viewing them on. They have like snap groups, snapped layouts, desktops, powerful to multitask. So I'm thinking maybe it'll, like if I wanted to cut my monitor in chunks, I can watch this, and this, which I think you can still do right now, but maybe they make it more snappable.
Or maybe easy access, because I don't know how to do that.
Widgets, yeah, exactly. There's supposed to be new widgets, a new personalized feed powered by AI provides a faster way to access the information you care about. And with Microsoft Edge's world-class performance, speed, and productivities features you can get more done on the web. Now, I don't use
Microsoft Edge at all.
I don't know a single soul who does. I swear to you. One of the first ones they use. What do they use? They use Chrome.
Chrome or Firefox.
There's your top two, ladies and gentlemen.
You got your Windows and your Mac.
You should ask Jeeves about that.
Right? Oh my god.
Jeeves, poor
really?
Jeeves.
Did you really just say that?
I did.
Oh my god, our age is showing.
It'll have direct storage, auto HDR. So if you get like if you have Windows Xbox Gaming Pass and stuff like that, you get access over 100 high quality PC games to play on Windows 11 for one monthly price. Now that's what they're promising. So we'll figure that out. There's like a whole different ton
of. Is that the price of the Xbox Game Pass, or is that the price of Windows itself?
Well, the Game Pass is sold separately. So you'll be able to the Direct 12. There's a DirectX 12 Ultimate Direct Storage and Auto HDR. With Xbox Game Pass for PC or Ultimate, you'll get access to over 100 quality PC games. So it's a separate thing, but you'll be able to bring it over to your PC.
Because I have Game Pass for the PC.
Right.
And that's why I was asking a question. I was like, wait a minute. I already have it. I already paid that separate price. Am I going to have to pay another price?
Okay. So let me ask you this. Since you do that, I have an Xbox One. Okay. I have games on it, obviously. How if I wanted to play Red Dead Redemption, but I'm playing it on the computer versus on the P, is that how you do it? Like I can plug it, I could do whatever it is and play it off that without using a controller, but I can use a mouse keyboard. But can I still talk to people I talk to in Xbox? I'm confused.
I believe you can set up a party through the PC. And so you'll have your Xbox friends right there on the PC.
Okay.
Like if you have Game Pass on your Xbox, you can download the Xbox Game Pass on the PC and just log in with your stuff, and your stuff will be there.
Okay. Okay.
So your friends will be there, and you'll be able to chat and play games, all that good, fun stuff.
The availability for this, again, October 5th, it will come out. Starts. It'll be in phases. So they'll roll it out eventually, but they want to test market. They want to see how it goes. They're going to over time to in-market. Yeah. And there's a way you can actually check if your PC, all you have to do is check out your Windows and look and see if you can do it. If you can update it right now, you could, if your computer is qualified for the October 5th one, you should see where it says under Windows updates, you would be able to download and install that down the road. So you'll see it there where it says Windows updates. It might be under the special ones or the special features or whatever they call that for Windows. The extra part, if you will.
Well, have you heard about this kids' parents being sued over cryptocurrency?
Oh, for the cryptocurrency, I think I heard just a sliver of that. I want to say that I might have heard something like this. It was some like a ludicrous amount of money, was it not?
Oh God, yes. So the kid is a hacker. He
That's lovely.
Yeah. His parents are being sued over $780,000 of stolen cryptocurrency.
780,000?
Mm-hmm.
000? Whoa.
Yes. So it happened back in January of 2018.
Okay. Over 3 years ago. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Colorado resident. I'm not going to say his name. If you want to know, look up the article.
There you go.
But he was relieved of 16.4 Bitcoin, worth around $780,000 in today's market.
Ooh.
And he spent about 10 grand in private investigation fees. And now he is suing the parents of the believed culprit, which are 2 UK-based computer science students, which were minors in 2018.
Holy crap. Well, I guess, if you're, here's my thing. If you're a minor and you're doing big boy things, you're doing adult shit, you should be considered as an adult and be tried as an adult. No more of this.
It says back then they were minors. That means they're adults now. There's places that can try you as an adult at the age of 16. This was 3 years ago.
Now, see, here in my state, I think the consent age is 16, I think. For like for adult trials and stuff like that. So if you're like 16 or whatever that is, you're basically considered as an adult, depending on the crime, I would assume. Like if you ran over grandma or something, yeah, I think they're going to charge you as an adult. You can't sit there and say, but I'm a 16-year-old. Well, you did an adult action, therefore, bada boom, bada bing, you're going up the road. Yeah,
Exactly.
Why wouldn't they be? Son of a bitch. If you go out and you shoot somebody, or if you ran a red light and, you cause a huge wreck on the 401 highway or whatever, I think you should be responsible no matter what it is. How old you are. Why? Shit, why not? That's how we do things. I don't know. Speaking of stuff like that, did you hear about the malware attack?
No.
Kaspersky, I believe is how it's pronounced. You've probably heard of that. It's a antivirus software program company.
Nope. I heard of Norton.
Yeah,
and MacP, and that's about it.
Well, here's so the Kaspersky has blocked over 5.8 million malware attacks disguised as a popular PC game last year. So that is pretty damn. That's a lot. 5.8 million malicious attacks. I don't know how many how many attacks occur on a yearly basis. or anything like that, but holy geez, 5.85 million attacks from malware and other unwanted software. So it was detected with downloaded software designed to cover fetchy install malware on infected devices. So if you were to basically download something, boom, you can get infected. But I don't know how they do that today, because you figure with all the
because now I'm really curious.
include a range of Trojans to steal various users' data, swipe banking, login credentials, install backdoors so attackers can more easily navigate around any security blockades that might be in place.
Oh, no.
Now, see, I've heard people before getting, stuff like this with bank cards and any information like that with bank credentials and stuff. But there was also malware attacks aimed at gamers on platforms that attempted to concealment by spoofing Minecraft.
Well, I hate to say it, but Minecraft would be the game that that a lot of people played.
There are a lot of Minecraft mods available to hide malicious payloads inside, and the Kaspersky alone blocked over 3 million attacks that came disguised as legitimate Minecraft software. So here you are with what looks to be on the front side of it as a legit thing. On the back side, gee, this does
full of all nasty stuff.
Doesn't this sound kind of familiar to you? Doesn't Twitch just had an issue with something like this with these IP grabbers? I mean, it's the same thing. It looks legit. It's a gift website. You go there, you can use a code or like a website hook to get the picture as a cloud. And sure as heck, they've exploited it and used a code behind it to actually, it's really, it's a sad way of people doing it. But 5.8 million malware. That's crazy.
It wasn't only Minecraft, though, was it?
No, it wasn't just Minecraft, I don't think. They were talking about various different things. PUBG, Fortnite, GTA 5.
Oh, no. Oh, boy. That just made my heart sink a little.
The second largest one, the most popular game to use disguised malware that accounted for nearly 1.3 million attacks. The Sims 4.
Jesus, come on! Why the games that the kids like to play?
Why, or kid adults like myself? I haven't played it in a very long time, but why the hell would you do that? Why? What gives you the inclination to do this stuff?
I mean, a friend of mine, her kids love Sims,
and
they're always wanting to buy, the expansion packs and the texture packs and stuff. Why do that to what most people, most kids play? I love me some Sims 4 and I love me some Minecraft, but I know a lot of the younger kids are super big into it.
Right.
And they're targeting that.
Well, what it is it looks legit. Like you go to a link. It looks legit, like you're going, for example, it lures gamers through a phishing pages. So according, what it is you go to a website that it looks legit, and then it grabs information. Say if you were putting in like say if you were buying a DLC for the game, it looks like a legit click to go and get the DLC, and you might actually get the DLC, but there's a backdoor behind it, so they're grabbing your information.
Yeah.
Which is so sad, man. It's such a sad,
it really is.
Sad thing. And I like Sims 4, damn it. I do. What else do we have?
On the topic of GTA. Did you hear about the man invading a live show? Like a live TV show demanding GTA 6?
So somebody broke live television and demanded for GTA 6?
Yes.
Now we've all seen it, right? We've seen anchors who are out in the field doing live wires, they call it, and somebody runs by naked or streaks, or we've had people, they sit there and they say, yeah, or they do something silly on camera, right? Which is live television, so it's hard to cut away. But there was a man who invaded a TV show while they were
Yep,
live.
okay. It was a German TV show called Beat the Star,
Okay.
where contestants take on celebrities in various challenges.
Okay.
And they were in between, and I've seen the clip. It's hilarious.
Oh
But
man.
Rockstar hasn't said anything about GTA 6. Obviously, we know that.
Right.
Of course, that means every week from now until there is a launch date, there will be leaks, rumors, and, general.
Well, isn't that like how it is? Yeah, a lot of times there's always going to be that thing where there's secret leaks and
Mm-hmm.
where they assume this is going to be this and that and everything, but later maybe it comes out as not being true, or maybe it was true and we just didn't realize it. But wow, really? What?
Yeah, okay, so
I gotta hear more.
obviously, it's been suggested that GTA 6 is not going to be released until somewhere in 2025. But
2025. Ooh.
but this guy was a member of the audience and he ran on stage, and this is the rough translation of what was said.
Okay.
It says, "I wish you a beautiful beautiful day. My name is Asa. I want to know where the hell is GTA 6. I've been waiting 8 years for GTA 6." The
Wow.
talk show host goes, "GTA 6, I'll be there." And the
Wow.
man says, "Yeah, exactly. Shout that into the camera."
That's pretty ballsy to do. It really
Right?
is. I mean, you figure to do something like that, you could get seriously in trouble for doing that. Federal law protects those kind of people from the airwaves, the FCC in particular. But holy crap, man! Just to do something like that, just to get that 5 seconds of fame.
Obviously, the people want GTA 6, and they need to step on this, and because this is going to start happening more and more,
Mm-hmm.
because it has been 8 years.
It has been, yeah, it's been a very long time
It's
since.
a long time. People are getting anxious and antsy. I know I am, but I'm not going to pull a stunt like that.
It's crazy what people will do. I mean, I can understand being a fan of GTA. I love GTA. It's really fun, especially when you get the right people with you to group up and to just cause craziness or and being serious and do heists and setups and stuff like that. But I wonder what GTA 6 is going to bring us. It's kind of interesting. I wonder what they're going to bring. What
I can't wait.
I really hope it's going to be more like I can go into these buildings and stuff versus, there's a handful of buildings that you can go into. I didn't like that too much, but there's a Samsung Zippy 980 Pro 1 terabyte SSD. I don't know if you've heard of this before, but it's on sale for $180. Now, for those who don't know what an M.2 is, M.2 is basically an SSD, a solid state drive. It's about as big as a RAM, it's about the size of RAM for your computer, a little bit smaller. It's thin, it's narrow, and it's held by one little screw. And you insert it in kind of like I guess you could say a vertical connection of, instead of like RAM is horizontal, it's more vertical. You snap it in, then it folds down. So basically, it is for $180 for a terabyte SSD. It gets pretty fast. It can deliver up to 7,000 megabytes per second of read performance, which is super crazy. This thing is reading like lightning. It's like an Einstein M.2. It's really crazy. I have an M.2. I think mine's a Samsung too. I don't think it's the 980, but I think I'm pretty sure I have an SSD that M.2 that is something close to it. But it's really fascinating. It's a really cool thing. It's down almost $50 from the MSRP, the manufacturer's retail price.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it's pretty good too. $50 off. I mean, it's not too bad. You could buy it for I mean, it goes for $230, $229.99, and you get it for like $180, $180 US at
Show up
time
and take my money.
at time of recording. Yeah, so $180, which isn't bad. I think
It really
now,
is.
I think the motherboards can only handle one M.2 though, so you would have to pull it out and everything. But for me,
Yeah.
it reads. I use it as my G uh, hard drive, and in fact, it reads all of my Steam games off it. That's where all my Steam goes. So that's really cool. Transfer rates are crazy, crazy speeds, crazy speeds. What else do we have?
Well, Destiny 2. A Destiny 2 player discovered the highest DPS
On Destiny 2?
on Destiny 2.
One game I can't say I've given too much love to. That's interesting.
So he found the highest DPS and one-shotted the toughest raid boss solo.
Really?
Solo. In one shot.
Okay, that sounds a little sus, but
it does. It sounds really sus to me.
my ears are perked up like a dog, but yeah, go on. I want to hear this one. That's kind of weird.
Well, he's a YouTuber. He posted his findings last Thursday, breaking down his trick. Using Destiny Sunbreaker, the subclass for the Titan, they equipped the throwing hammer, which automatically recharges melees after it's been picked up. He also added some buff attributes for good measures. And he explains everything in this YouTube video. But it says a normal hammer throw hit on the bounty target will get you an admirable 21,000 damage. Buffing it with said buffs will make your hammer hit 47,000 or 2.2 times. The 1-2 punch weapon perk then buffs damage again after hitting an enemy with every shotgun pellet, letting the hammer reach 64,000 damage. The
Holy
tractor cannon
hell.
shotgun adds another 1.3 time buff. And the Worm God gauntlets then stack up to 5 buffs for every melee kill. Though it's harder to chain, it lets the hammer hit for 160,000 damage. That's a lot of damage.
That is a lot of bloody damage. That's crazy.
Now, you thought that was crazy. You combine them all together, and you get a 64.35 time buff, getting the hammer a 1.38 million damage count.
Wow.
That's insane.
So he basically one-shotted the biggest boss in the entire game.
Yeah.
So he's figured out like the complete combination. Now, see, that's funny because a person I know, he was farming for a specific, I think it's a weapon on Borderlands 3 that gives him like a whole ton of different like buffs and stuff like that. See, that's the key thing is about buffs, you know, and find things like that to, I guess, in a sense, give you the upper advantage legally or without any, you're not taking fun out of the game. You just found what they've made and you've just put it all together as like a holy grail of weaponry or armor or whatever the case it is.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Well, that's cool though. I mean, hey, if it works, it works. But I don't know, man. I'd be kind of would that be kind of overkill though? I mean, don't you want me
personally, I would love to, when I play games, like I played games with you, when it comes to a boss, I like to, like specifically on Genshin, I like having that fight. I don't want to just go in there and pew, you're dead. That's no fun.
Right.
It isn't. I mean, I get finding that is cool.
Right.
But why would you want to do that much damage and not have a fight and not have any fun with it? It might just be me, but
no, I agree with you 110%. I mean, it just doesn't seem. I mean, it. Okay, you have the biggest and the best, but now it's like it kind of takes the wind out of the sails. Like, oh well,
exactly.
I could do this. One more. Just an instant bam. And speaking of stuff like that, just wanted to say Mora from Genshin Impact. Today's her birthday.
What?
Oh, Genshin Impact?
Yes.
Yes. There's been like all this stuff about her birthday today. Mora, the character you like so much on the game.
Mona,
that's it. I added an R and 7 an N. Yes.
When you said Mora, that's the currency there.
Okay, yeah. So it's their birthday. Happy birthday, currency.
It's actually today is actually my 2 older twin sisters' birthdays.
You have twins?
Yes, my dad had twins.
What?
Yes, I have 2 sisters that are twins. They are. Okay, I'm not gonna do the math.
I was gonna say, wait a minute, don't you know the age of your siblings?
I know.
No.
My younger sister's birthday was a week ago, and I didn't even remember how old she was. I had to do the math. I'm not today.
Okay. No, that's okay. I mean, if you wished them a happy birthday, then I guess well, there you go. That's what you got to do. I don't know. I didn't know this. I didn't realize you had twins. That's crazy.
We have 6 siblings total, like between me and my brothers and sisters.
Really?
There's 6 of us.
Ooh.
Yes. So, on a whole separate note, have you ever played Death Stranding?
No, but I've had people ask me to play it. Is it a good game to play?
No.
Well, that answers my question, folks. Good night. No, really.
I've heard so many things about this game.
Oh, wow.
I've been told it's just FedEx delivery simulator. You cannot fast travel. You cannot really run.
Oh, man.
You have to collect these packages, and they're all stacked up straight up your back.
Oh, I remember when this came out. I remember watching a big streamer play this. Yes, I remember this. So you're the delivery donkey.
Yeah.
And you have to deliver all this stuff, and there's aliens and stuff. Isn't there like weird?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I remember. I've never played it, but you've played this?
No.
Okay. You knew it was poopy before.
I've seen plenty of YouTube videos. But the main character, Norman Reedus, from The Walking Dead.
I was just gonna say that I knew.
Yes. So he let it slip that he's in negotiations for a second Death Stranding. Now,
really?
Me personally, I don't know why they would make a second one if the first one was the flop.
Well, now they do stuff like this. We know many times it's a hit or miss when it comes to remakes, rehashing, or even making a sequel or continuation of things. So, what do you think? Do you think it's going to be another poopsie, or?
Well, I'm hoping, but I'm not crossing my fingers or holding my breath. That's for sure.
Oh,
but it's
man.
it's not the first time that Norman Reedus has leaked out some spoilers and stuff.
Because okay.
It spoiled season 10 of the finale of The Walking Dead just last year, so we'll just have to wait and see what he lets slip about this game.
Speaking of slipping, You're ready to build your own dinosaur park with Jurassic World Evolution 2. It's releasing November 9th. Now, I don't know if you've ever played those kind of like Sims where you can build with Bronchiosaurus or Tyrannosaurus Rex or ex-girlfriends or boyfriends, but you now in November 9th is when it comes out. You could be skills as a park manager to the test, and you can even pre-order right now if you're inclined to do so, you can do that. It'll have build bigger, more intricate parks and entirely new locations. There's going to be environments and weather hazards, kind of. I think there was before too, wasn't there? Or they could break out of their cages or their fencing and stuff like this. You'll also have to think vertically as well as more dinosaurs to deal with, including marine and flying reptiles. So that's a plus. That'd be the first time I think I've ever seen a sim that has flying animals versus, you know, because I know the original one. I remember watching a big same person, by the way, who was streaming that donkey one, the one with the back, they went AFK. They had to use the facility. They went in the other room. They were gone for like, I don't know, 7 minutes or whatever. And all of a sudden there was these alarms just beeping and beeping. And what happened is one of the dinosaurs broke out of their cage or the fencing and was terrorizing the whole bloody park, in which you could hear all these, the in-game characters screaming and stuff like this. They'll have smarter too. The dinosaurs will get more smarter. They'll have more advanced behavior. So they're upping the AI for each and individual dinosaurs. So if you don't be surprised now, if you see raptors hunting in packs and putting pressure on bigger prey, if the raptors manage to escape their enclosure, so they might actually go after like maybe a brontosaurus, or I doubt. I don't think they would be smart enough to go after a T-Rex. I mean, if you're smart, if you think you have a death wish, go after a Tyrannosaurus Rex. But that's going to be cool. There's going to be different things, new dinosaurs. You'll have to pay more attention to your staff, new team of scientists at your disposal who can, quote, help you or sabotage you, depending on how you manage them.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. They can play Pinky in the brain, They can improve your park's capabilities, and if you push them too hard, well, you've seen what happened in the first movie, right? They all just start breaking out of their stuff. So this will be cool. There's a campaign mode, an original storyline. It picks up where the Jurassic World Falling Kingdom had left off, letting you continue the story. Yeah, you'll lead role in the Department of Fish and Wildlife's efforts throughout mainland USA to control, contain, and conserve the prehistoric species that are now roaming wild. So they put a lot into this.
They put a lot into it.
I mean, if it's going to be more intricate, it's going to be bigger, more parks, textures of the ground, color schemes, guest buildings. So it sounds like they've completely. I like the model of the first one. Well, let's just add like a whole different flavors onto it. On top of it, it's like, wow, okay, this works really well. It sounds exciting, and I'm excited to hear about it and ready to read about it. And that's November 9th. That'll come out. So that's around the corner.
That it is.
Speaking of that, we are coming up to the top of the hour of the Megabyte podcast. Now, coming up after this break, we'll be discussing random fun facts that are found on the web. And you are listening to the Megabyte podcast. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I'm your co-host, Squeamish Cactus.
And I'm Fufu.
Oh, now if you've missed other prior podcasts of the Megabyte podcast, make sure to go to anchor.fm/Squeamish Cactus. You'll be able to You'll be able to hear all the episodes or listen, whichever way you want to do it. Or you can go to Spotify.com and type in the Megabyte podcast, and you'll be able to bada boom, bada bing, find us. Just be sure to follow that. It'd be really helpful.
And you'll be updated through Discord when we upload another one.
Random facts that are so interesting, you'll say, oh my goodness.
Well,
I like facts. I'm one of those guru dudes that just absolutely loves facts. Yeah, hopefully they're true facts or just, kind of make you giggle kind of facts. But anything like that, I like. I like random facts that are, I could just tell somebody down the road, hey, guess what this?
Right.
Yeah. One of those kind of people.
Well, you found out a fact about me that you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Too long ago. Maybe like 10, 15 minutes. But did you know that more twins are being born now than before?
People, wait, more twins as in people being born?
Yes.
Really? Can you imagine
Yeah.
if I had a twin? Jeez, the world would be doomed. Doomed, I say.
Right? I don't think the world could handle two of you, Cactus.
Two John Nesquicks running around. Hey! Wow, that's really cool. More human twins are being born more than ever before.
Yep. The twinning rate
Okay.
is increased by 1/3 since the 80s and up from 9 to 12 twins per 1,000 deliveries. Currently, that adds up to about 1.6 million twins born each year across the world.
That's
Also meaning
wild.
1 out of every 42 babies is a twin. But also, twins aren't always born as twins. You could have twins during pregnancy and still only have one baby. Complications and stuff like that. So,
Oh, I got you.
You might not think someone's a twin, but there's a good possibility they were.
See, now there's always that always plagued me. Like I have twins in my. Now that I was thinking about it, now you're gonna learn a fact about me. My cousins are twins, but they're not identical. They're fraternal twins.
Oh, fraternal twins are more
Common.
My sisters are identical twins.
Okay. I have some questions. You may or may not know this. Bear with me. Is one left-handed, one right-handed? Like, I mean, as a twin, you would think one would be a yin and yang, right? I've always wanted to know this stuff since you know somebody.
They are both right-handed.
They're both right-handed. Are they both about the same height?
Yeah.
Same colored eyes?
Yep.
Same colored hair?
Well, they both dye their hair, so.
I mean, were they born with the same color?
Yes.
See, that fascinates me. It's like
they were completely identical at birth.
It's like you take a cookie cutter and you cut somebody out twice. It's so fun. I love stuff like that. I did not know that. But yeah,
they were so identical when they were in middle school. They would switch classes.
See, now
and they got away with it until my older sister, not the oldest twin, got a scar on her forehead, and that's the only way they could tell them apart.
That's interesting. If you look that identical, that would be my thing. Like, hey, I have a test in math. Could you cactus number 2? Could you mini cactus? Could you please go and I'll switch out. I'll take Jim or whatever. Wow, that's
do whatever you don't want to do.
Exactly. Dude, that's unusual. I never thought of that. That's crazy. Yeah. So that people are okay.
I mean, they were born 19 minutes apart.
Whoa, 19 minutes instead of like
19 minutes.
That's a long time, honest to God. For twins? That's like a million minutes.
Sometimes it can take a lot longer from the stories I've heard.
I always thought they usually popped out because you've heard people twins always say, "Well, I'm the older one. I was, I'm out by 5 seconds, or I beat you by 5 seconds, or something." That's interesting.
You can't have two babies come out at the exact same time, even with a C-section. You cannot have two babies come out the exact same time.
I guess you got me on that one. But you always hear him mention that the one is older than the other one by so many minutes.
Oh, trust me, I hear it all the time. I'm older than you only by 19 minutes. All the time. Growing up, it got so annoying.
That's fascinating. And I've heard people too, they have sisters who are fraternal twins as well too. That's crazy. Speaking of stuff that's kind of crazy, the first person ever to be, quote, charged for speeding. Okay. So the first person who ever received kind of a ticket or kind of a, first convicted of, I guess you could say convicted of speeding. Mm-hmm. The speed that they were going was a whopping, are you ready for this?
Oh, God.
8 miles per hour. 8 miles per hour.
This has to be right after cars started coming around.
This was by a gentleman by the name of Walter Arnold. He was in an English village of Paddock Wood, Kent, which is in England. This took place on January 28th, 1896. He was
When
spotted.
Cars first came out.
He was he was spotted going 4 times the speed limit in his 19th century Benz.
I'm sorry, did you say 4 times the speed limit?
Yes, you heard that
At 8
correctly.
miles an hour. So what was the speed limit? 2?
2 miles
my
per
God.
hour. Now you're in a car, in a 1800s car, 19th century Benz, like a Mercedes, and the speed was just 2 miles per hour.
Cactus, you know I'd be in jail.
Oh my God.
They'd lock me up and throw away the key.
Now they would say, "Nope, no more rabbit carrots for you, rabbit." The constable had to chase him down on a bicycle. And
Oh my God.
he issued him a ticket for £4, and earned him the speedy distinction for, which is crazy. So they charged him a $4 ticket,
Yeah.
which back then I guess would be considerably high. But imagine that 2 miles an hour is your speed limit, and you broke it by doing 4 over. Now, if you did 4 over the speed limit today, that's an instant 6 points plus in your record. You might as well just watch.
Suspended.
You might as well
better watch out the window.
You might as well just watch the cop just take a lighter to your driver's license card, because it's just gonna go up and that's it. You'll never get that shit back.
Oh no. Oh no.
That is crazy. 2 miles per hour. Was chased by a constable on a bicycle, and they issued him a £4 ticket, which is crazy for 8 miles per hour. I'm sorry, that just blows my mind. That's crazy. What else do you got?
I'm sorry, I can't stop crying. That was funny. Okay, so me personally, I think this one's interesting. Did you know a narwhal's tusk reveals its past living conditions?
Really?
Yes, kind of like the rings on a tree.
Oh, so that's how okay. Oh, that's weird.
See, I love narwhals. I think they are amazing.
Aren't they the ones that had that long, like, horn, like a unicorn?
The unicorns of the sea.
That's what yes, the unicorns of the sea.
I love them. They are adorable.
Until you get spiked with that thing.
I didn't say I was going to swim with one. I'm not stupid. But much like the rings on a tree, you can tell its age, and you can get clues about how it's lived throughout its life.
Aww.
To do so, the long tusk of a narwhal,
Mm-hmm.
it says it has shown that this particular Arctic whale adds a layer to its distinctive tusk each year. And not only do these layers offer insight into the age of the narwhal, they've been known to live up to 50 years.
That's crazy for a creature of the waters.
Mm-hmm.
Except for turtles, but you know.
Yeah, right. But the conditions in which they lived, such as the level of pollution, temperature, and even what their diet consisted of. So their tusk, their unicorn horn, tells you what they lived off of, like food-wise, how far it went from being not polluted to more polluted to less polluted.
So basically, it's like a thermometer of how the world is, or how its environment is. That's crazy. I've never heard of an animal having stuff like that. Of course, trees, anything bio, I would assume, but that's wild. I've never thought of that. That's neat.
That is, it's really interesting. I love narwhals. As a Pisces,
okay,
ocean is one of my favorite places to be. 1, 2, favorite subjects, because I just love anything to do with water. And that's one of the reasons I love living in Florida, because we're surrounded by water.
I've only seen saltwater. Well, if you want to say physically touch the water, because I always, I love new things and like, I was there. That was the Gulf of Mexico
Been there.
and the Atlantic Ocean are the two that I physically have touched the water and said, "Ooh, it's cold and salty." It's really salty. I mean, it's like you might as well just pour salt in your mouth. That's how salty that is.
Sand is bad. Just wait until you actually get in the ocean.
Really?
Florida sand ain't got nothing on the salt water. But it'll exfoliate your skin, make you soft as hell.
I would assume that's a plus.
Yep.
Speaking of pluses, imagine, Fufu, you went to the dealership, got yourself a 2022, name your favorite vehicle, insert here. You open the doors and new car smell. There's over 50 different chemicals that are combined just to make that new smell.
What?
Oh yeah, there's 5 in particular, and these are volatile these are this is messed up. They're volatile organic compounds. So that's wonderful, right? There's 5 in particular that there's dozens that contribute to the new car smell, but there's a depending on the manufacturer, I guess, is what I'm trying to spit out. There are 5 common ones that make up the most in the interior of the new car. One's called toluene or toluene. I could be totally killing it, but it's okay. It's a liquid that is solvent from crude oil. And it's ironically enough, since you do your nails, it's found in nail polish. There's one that's called ethylbenzene. It smells like gasoline, ethanol. I mean, that's part of it. Styrene. This one is, I guess it's small amounts of food, including fruits and vegetables, so I guess it can't be that bad. Xylene and trimethylbenzene. Try saying that 5
times fast.
Right. It's a very strong, peculiar odor, I guess. It's used for solvents and thinners, if I'm not mistaken, and it's an additive in auto fuel. So all these nice, yummy smells that make a car smell are actually horrible for you. I mean, holy crap. I mean, I know.
Sound horrible.
This is a person myself who likes the smell of nail polish and gasoline, but that's just a whole different.
A little weird like that, but
we all are.
I'm the same way.
There you go.
Well, on that note, I'm gonna switch it back to the sea. It always it resonates with me.
Under the
Did
sea.
you know that was my favorite movie growing up? Fun fact: Little Mermaid. But that's not what we were talking about, Cactus. Did you know the severed head of a sea slug can grow a whole new body?
Now, I've heard starfish, and like sponge and stuff actually grow back, but a sea slug's head.
Yep.
The
it
hell?
Sounds like something you would see in like a horror movie.
I was going to say, I mean,
real.
Are you amping me up for the fall? I mean, is this a horror movie?
I mean, I'm already amped for the fall, but that's another day.
That is so weird.
Alicia CF marginata, a type of sea slug, has been found not only to survive decapitation, but also be able to grow a whole new body from it. Now imagine if that was humans.
Wow. So how come we don't have technology like this?
Cut your head off, you're still alive, and then you grow a whole new body the way you want it. Sign me up. Without back pain.
It's always, yeah. But see, that's like with cockroaches too.
Ugh.
The cockroach, you can cut off its head and it will still live for days and days. The only reason why it dies eventually is because of starvation. It doesn't die because of the nervous system being, like ours.
Removed.
It literally just dies because it's hungry. and they can literally survive a Holocaust. And they've proven this. They have bombarded some with radiation, and the damn thing still lived. That's crazy. So think about that for a second.
They did one of the universities in Japan did a study on these sea slugs. It says after about it says snailheads only after a few hours were nibbling on algae already, like nothing had happened. And in about 20 days, a third of the sea slugs that were studied had fully grown back their bodies, including their heart.
That's really weird. So a third of a body, a quarter to a third. That's a lot of body. I mean, you think of a quarter part of yourself, and I mean, holy jeez.
Well, that's a third of the sea slug population. Only 20 days is all it took for their bodies to fully grow back, including their organs and their heart.
Wow.
So it's something, that's for sure.
I've never that. I mean, we could, as humans, we should study stuff like, especially like starfish too, and snakes can. I think it was no. I'm sorry, octopus. Octopuses can do the same thing. They can get their arms ripped off and damn near die, but then they can turn around and revamp themselves, which is a miracle.
Same with all these lizards running around my apartment complex. Their tail comes off, they just grow it back.
That's crazy. See, I would love to live in an area where there's lizards running around like that. It'd be fun.
Yeah, lizards running around. I've seen iguanas in trees. All sorts of crazy stuff happens here.
You have iguanas down there? Really?
When it gets cold enough, they freeze and fall out of the trees. Really weird.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. They get, because iguanas are cold-blooded, so they live in the tropic area, and when it starts getting down to like 65, 60, 55, 50, which has gotten that low, they will freeze and fall out of the trees.
Whoa, what was that? Oh, don't mind that. I was just iguana falling out of a tree. That's sad. That's so sad.
Yeah, it starts raining frozen iguanas, but they're perfectly fine. Once it starts warming back up, they'll pop right back up and scurry off.
That's fascinating. Send me some. Mail me some of those bad boys. I would love to have some. I don't know if that's legal or not, but
I want to see an iguana freeze, so you can watch it pop back up when you thaw it out.
I mean, well, here in the wintertime, probably damn thing would probably be frozen, like a frozen iguana lollipop or something. Yeah.
Well, since we're talking about reptiles,
did
you know the world's smallest reptile was first reported this year?
The world's smallest? Now that's fascinating.
Smallest.
The heck would the world's smallest?
I mean, okay, so a tiny chameleon, teeny tiny little chameleon, the size of your fingertip. Well, tiny fingertips, not
guy size. Okay.
Anyway, a tiny chameleon was discovered in northern Madagascar and measured just 28.9 millimeters. It is believed to be the smallest reptile on Earth.
That is so tiny. Poor little thing.
The itty bitty chameleon was recently discovered and reported in the January 2021 issue of Scientific Reports. But there's only one thing about these critters that's big for its size.
Oh,
the
no.
genitalia of the males measures almost 20% of its body length. Now think about that. It's a teeny tiny little chameleon.
At 28.9 millimeters. 20% of that is its phallus.
Yes.
Holy shit, that thing's gifted. And we all thought maybe other things that go nay were talented or gifted, but holy hell, dude, that's crazy. You can imagine being a scientist first person. I've always thought Madagascar was always the crazy place. I knew there would be like they barely even cracked open the study of that.
Yeah, no.
And this poor little creature, 28.9 millimeters, which is tiny.
Very tiny.
20% of its body length of that. So you're talking 5.6 millimeters. I mean, that. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I should be bowing to it. I mean, that's pretty damn good. Oi, 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 oi.
I mean, the picture of it's really cute, but
I never knew. Speaking of like reptilian things that are cold, and hopefully these things don't fall. You know, some some sea snakes sneeze too. They sneeze, those sea snakes. Watch ones in the sea go sneeze. Can breathe through their skin. I've always kind of wondered. I always, they can breathe through their skin. Yes, it's true. The sea snakes can now, they've figured that they have, well, you know, a fish has gills, obviously, right? That's how they breathe. But there are a few sea snakes that breathe through their skin as well. There's one that's called a Hydrophis cynosynctus. It's been found to, quote, breathe through the top of its own head. Can you imagine that? You could smell your own shampoo. Ooh, that's pretty good. Or what if you're dandruff and, oh, God forbid, never mind. It has a small hole and a collection of blood vessels at the top of its head for picking up oxygen and the seawater, and it sends it through the reptile's brain while it moves underwater. So you've heard of having water under the brain, but Jesus, I've never thought in my life I would hear that before. You imagine that?
right?
I knew like flies and stuff, they taste with their feet, you know, and other creatures and stuff. They breathe through their legs like crickets and stuff, but I never thought a sea snake could breathe through her skin because they're underwater and ugh. They're quite ugly too. Have you ever seen a sea snake?
Yes.
Ugh.
I'm not
good.
a fan of snakes.
I'm not a fan of those sea snakes because a lot of those like water moccasins can kill a human.
Oh, hell no. We have those around here.
We do have one here in my state too. And there was all these more. They're further north of me, thank God, but they are here. So I don't think I've ever seen them.
All over down here.
Really?
Yeah.
Hard to believe in salt water. I thought those would be in fresh water, but
Well, we have a bunch of lakes and stuff.
oh, that's true.
Like, I'm telling you, Florida's like 1 or 2 more hurricanes away from sinking.
The elevation there must be very.
It's not very high.
Very low. I know New Orleans was the same too. Remember hearing that?
Well, did you know? Obviously, anyone who has seen anything in history books or, you know, it's very iconic. But did you know the heads on Easter Island have bodies?
Gum for Dum Dum? In a museum? I did not know this. Wait,
Yes.
so the Easter Island heads, the ones that are poking out, I would love to go to, by the way. It's so far off the coast of Africa, though, you couldn't, it's like 2,000 miles away. Crazy.
Mhm.
But they have bodies? They have actual bodies? Really?
Yep. It says the iconic stone heads
Mhm.
protruding from the ground on Easter Island are familiar to most, but many people do not realize what lies beneath the surface. In the 10s, like 2010 and to 2020.
Okay.
Oh my god, I can't say it.
Mm-hmm. Those
Those
people that play in the sand and dirt, yeah.
Yes.
Archaeologists.
There you go.
Mhm.
Can't talk today.
It's okay.
Studying the hundreds of stone statues on the Pacific Island, excavated 2 of the figures, revealing full torsos, which measure as high as 33 feet.
Those things are in the ground 33 feet deep.
Mhm.
So think about that for a second. We all
I'm
know.
5 feet.
Excuse me?
I'm 5 feet.
Tall?
5'3".
Okay.
So you got to think that's what, 6 of me?
So if you were staying on your shoulders and I'd have to look way up and I'd find you up there. That's crazy. So imagine, if you will, the person or persons that had to put that together. So that makes you think, was Easter Island as mountainous as it is, or hilly as it is? Because if you look at pictures and stuff, you see it's all hills and you just see the heads, right? So it makes you think that maybe there was a temple, just thinking outside the box. And it's a national monument, so I don't think they'll ever want to bury underneath it, or to dig rather. But that would be crazy to do.
Right.
Wow. And that's something you would never thought of before, that they actually have a torso. So it makes you think that maybe they're standing as pillars to a big temple that's buried underneath. Maybe there's riches under there. Fufu,
I mean,
you're going to have to pay for my ticket to go to Easter Island. I want to find this. I want to excavate them.
I was going to say you had to pay for mine.
Darn. That's like a 4-story building. You think about it, 11
Right?
feet per
I
thing.
mean, I sent you a picture. If you look at it, there's people standing next to it.
They're tiny.
They're teeny.
Teeny tiny in comparison. That's crazy.
But yeah, they have full torsos. That's insane.
I'm fascinated why they built them.
Right? That's another good thing. Another good question.
I know, depending on the look of it, there was different, I guess you could say, tribes on the island. And depending on how it looked and stuff, if it's flathead or if it's a face is like the typical Easter Island face, they all had slight differences. They all had slight looks. It was a very fascinating story. I saw it on TV. It was a fascinating video of different things. And I mean, to get all that material, though, to build one, and then it's 33 feet deep. Holy crap, dude. I mean, whoever made those and whoever made the pyramids, you had a lot of time on your hands.
I'm telling you, aliens.
Speaking of aliens and solar things, did you know the moon, the thing that we see in our backyards, on a daily basis, they have moonquakes?
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
Less common and less intense than these shakes that, kind of happen here on Earth, obviously, because they don't have the Titanic plates as much as we do.
Yeah.
But the
Titanic plates.
The Titanic plates.
They're tectonic.
Those two. Those are the ones with gin and tonic. Titanic. See, I can't talk today either. The moonquakes are believed by the U.S. Geological Survey, or USGS for short, for the abbreviation. They occur due to tidal stresses connected to the distance between the Earth and the moon. Give or take, it's about 186,000 miles, not too far from each other, 220,000 miles apart. I mean, in space and AU units, astronomical units, that's that's like a eyelash on your eyebrow or eyelash on your eyelid. It's so close and scary, but man, if you didn't have the moon, we wouldn't have tides and stuff because of that pulling effect. It's such a fascinating thing.
It really is.
All planets have them too, which makes it even funnier. Who knew? But yes, they do have moonquakes. They're not as common. I wonder if they felt that when they went up there. Armstrong, no, he's not available for comment. Okay. Sad. What else do we have?
Did you know goosebumps were actually a psychological reaction to ward off predators?
I thought it was a series of books.
That too, but
I didn't know that.
We get goosebumps. Well, it's a psychological reaction. The small muscles attached to individual body hairs contract, which then leads the hair to stand up on its end. We inherit this ability from our ancestors in part as a way for our then coat of body hair to capture air beneath and in the way that we retain the heat.
That gives me chills just thinking about that. That's weird. So it's actually to ward off predators and stuff?
Yes. It's a physiologist. I actually can say that one.
There
And
you
a
go.
professor of zoology in Ontario explained to Scientific American that it also caused our ancestors to appear bigger than they were, helping to ward off predators when they were frightened or on the defense. Modern humans having less body hair, goosebumps no longer cause us to look much more intimidating because, our body hair doesn't stand up and make us look big and bushy.
So pre-human circa today, we were like abominable snowmen just walking around and
Yeah, pretty much.
Sasquatches. And we had like can you imagine that? Like having all that kind of hair? Oh my God. How would you live or survive in harsh, hot environments such as your own? And I mean, it'd be great for us Midwestern and slash Canadians with the heat and or the keeping us nice and warm during those cold winter months. But oh wow, that's crazy. I
I
don't
mean,
know. I've never thought of somebody being intimidating with their. To me, it's just like, oh, your body's reacting to something strange, or you're cold.
right?
I did not know that. You ever had apple cider?
Yes, I have.
Oh,
I grew up in Pennsylvania where we had apple orchards all around.
there's no such thing as pear cider. There's apple cider. We all know that. Cider is an alcoholic beverage that is made from the fermented apples. Now, here's a true fact. Have you ever watched like deer in the fall or animals? I don't know if you guys have deer down there. We have white-tailed deer.
Yeah, we have deer.
Okay. I, I, I mean, what don't you have down there?
I
Snow.
mean, we got everything. Yeah, that. You can keep that.
Nah, I'll mail you some.
We
The
have everything from deer to gators to bears, panthers. We got it all here.
Now, alcoholic beverages can be made from pears. We all know that. There's pear
Hmm.
liqueurs and stuff like that. Pear,
Yeah.
you know, known as a perry. The drink was popular in England for centuries. So yes, they had the little pinky fingers out and they were drinking this beautiful, yummy drink called perry.
When
When
in
it,
doubt,
and
pinky
when
down.
in Paris, that's true. But found out of the favor during the second half of the 20th century. So in other words, they stopped drinking this during the second half of the 20th century. So you're talking the mid part of the 1900s, I guess, right? That'd be the 20th century. And it was rebranded as pear cider. So that doesn't make sense. Pear cider was actually, we'll see. Now, see, that's a tongue twister. Cider is actually an alcoholic beverage. Apple cider isn't, but it is. It's just really weird.
It isn't, but it is.
It is. It
But
is.
it isn't.
It's one of those mysteries. It's just one of those weird things. But hey,
Speaking of weird things,
mm-hmm.
did you know pineapple works as a natural meat tenderizer?
Don't tell this to SpongeBob. Really?
Yes, the fruit is packed with an enzyme, bromelain or bromelain. I don't know how you pronounce it, and I'm
It's
probably
one of those
butchering it.
enzymes that
But
are inside the pineapple.
but it breaks down the protein chains, making it an ideal marinade for meats when you don't have a lot of time. But for the same reason, pineapple doesn't work well for jellies and jams since that enzyme breaks down the gelatin as well.
So, is that considered a now? Pineapple isn't that a citrus fruit, is it?
Pineapple is not a citrus.
That's interesting.
Actually, eat.
So you'd be able to eat there's nothing more. A pineapple is really good when it's like if you freshly cut it or squeeze it. Oh, it's so good. I used to do that all the
Pineapple
time.
juice is so good.
If it's
I'm the only one in my house that eats pineapple. Okay.
really,
I've tried to give Zoe all sorts of different fruits, but she refuses to eat them. She doesn't like textures, and that goes with the autism and stuff. But I'll go to the store and I'll just buy cans of pineapple since no one else eats it. I don't want to grab a fresh pineapple and have it go to waste because I'm not gonna eat a whole pineapple in one sitting.
I mean, that's a lot of stuff to eat because, I mean, a pineapple on its own right, if you look at it, I mean, the thing is massive. It's huge.
And the only thing you can't eat is the skin and the core.
Always fascinates me how I mean, it's always prickly and I mean, it's huge. And I wonder who the poor sucker was that sat there and said, I want to eat this. You think about that for a second, like mushrooms on the ground. I want to eat that fungus. And it's like, I mean, there's so many ways to poison, mushrooms are so poisonous. There's only a handful that are actually edible to humans, but that's interesting. And watermelons and I can't do watermelon.
I love watermelon juice. I don't care for the actual fruit itself.
I can imagine the people are like, you try that mushroom right now. Okay. Okay, we don't eat those. It's like
right.
Hours later. It's like, holy crap. Or the guy's on the, he had to dig a hole and use the facilities because he ate a tainted mushroom. Or I mean, it's just like with turkeys too. Who the hell thought that thing that looks hideous? Let's eat that thing. It looks like a buzzard.
Thing that's fucking coming at me. Shoot it and let's cook it.
It's making this gobbling horrible noise. It's got this weird hair growing out of its chin. It's got this big bulbous blah, 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 thing. I'm like, oh my God, who says I want to eat that? And they always say traditionally that the quote unquote, the Pilgrims, when they first arrived in the U.S., that was their staple food. That's not true. That is a lie. They did not have turkey and a big feast. It was, yeah. Let's eat this. It just killed it, and let's see how it is.
Well, the enzyme in the pineapples is so strong that pineapple processors actually have to wear protective gloves because that enzyme can eat away at the skin on their face and hands, leaving very dry skin and small sores. That's why you're not supposed to eat too much pineapple in one sitting because it can give you sores on your tongue and on the inside of your cheeks because of that enzyme.
That's interesting because I would have thought the as an example, oranges, citric acid, vitamin C, ascorbic acid, which is found commonly in your citrus fruits, it would make you have sores and stuff because of the acidity of it. I never thought the protein enzyme of a pineapple, something is so sweet and juicy, would actually cause that much havoc on the body. I never thought of that.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
I never would have thought of that. Do you like malls? I love malls, but do you know there's a thing called a Gruen transfer? You ever get lost in a mall? You're like, oh man, the feeling of that mall, just getting in and getting lost inside a mall. That's why, some people get claustrophobic. I understand that. There are some things I don't like being stuck in, with like stuck in an elevator with two sumo wrestlers or in a pen with some rhinos or something like that. I could get that. But there's a thing, it's called the Gruen transfer, which is really weird. It's like another example would be like, say, you've probably been to a casino. I've been to many casinos. In fact, in a couple of weeks, I'll be going back to the west side of my state to go to a casino. And there is a thing where they purposely do it where they disorient you. So that way you lose track of time. There's no clocks in a casino.
Nope.
Never, ever. You'll never find a clock on the wall. You'll never see windows that are like not tinted because they don't want to let you see the time or day. They want you just to be in this space or zone, if you will, so that way you spend things. Well, they do it purposely to lose track in time and where exactly they are. There's also a similar strategy behind the design of shopping malls. They do this as well too. So your favorite mall you go to right now, think about it right in a second, ladies and gentlemen. You think about the favorite mall, it was designed to trick you. Known as the Gruen transfer, this phenomenon was named after the Austrian totally opposite sides of the world. They're closest to Germany, not to the oceans. He was an architect, Victor Gruen, who identified how intentionally confusing layouts could lead to consumers spending more time and more money in a shopping venue, which is really weird. So you think about that for a second. If you're stuck in a place, you're in a mall, and you get this called. So next time you get lost in a mall or in the casino, you can say that was the Gruen transfer effect.
Also, don't spend any more money because that's all they want.
Well, that's what it is. Technically, it is. I mean, you think a casino is
money.
A casino and a mall is there to lure you into. Oh, I walked by this before. Maybe I can play a few more minutes more of it. Yeah, exactly.
I'll go check it out.
I'm just getting my nails did real quick. You know, I was like,
Exactly.
you just. It's just weird. It's an interesting fact. I mean, I think my ex-girlfriend was there to trap me too, but that's a whole different case. Ooh. I went there.
Another interesting fact about, well, this one's about an amphibian. The wood frog can hold its pee for up to 8 months. 8 months.
You're saying to me it can hold its urination station for 8 months.
8 months.
Holy really?
Yep. Wood frogs in Alaska have been known to hold their urine for up to 8 months.
God, that's got to be painful.
Sticking it out through the region's long winters before relieving themselves once temperatures increase. Now, the reason they do that is because the urine actually helps keep the animal alive while it hibernates with a special microbes in their gut that recycles the urine's main waste into nitrogen.
I thought that was Mountain Dew.
Yeah. So them holding the urine in for 8 months keeps them alive. I want to know who it was that figured that one out.
They found a mile-long lake of pee. All these frogs peeing for like hours. Can you imagine that? Like,
I know. Imagine how long that is.
You've seen that there's a comedy show, a cartoon, won't mention names, but there's one scene where he's frozen and he's like frozen in, it's like a spoof of another movie. And as they unthaw him, he starts farting really loud and obnoxiously because he was holding it for so long. So that's what it kind of makes me think, like, how long in hell? I mean, if you had to go that long, I think your bladder would explode. At least mine would.
Yes. Oh, God, yeah.
That's crazy. Now, a lot of people think, okay, when you think hot, you think immediately like Arizona, you think maybe the Sahara, you think of Egypt. But did you know the hottest spot on the planet is in Libya?
I did not.
Temperatures there have been recorded to 136 degrees Fahrenheit.
And I thought it was hot here when it hit 106.
Oh, no. That's nothing. They'd be out there in tank tops and just saying, oh, I love this kind of weather. But 136 degrees, that equates to 57 degrees Celsius.
That's insane.
That is absolutely crazy. It was recorded as the hottest spot in the world. Now, this dates back a while, and actually it's around the corner, September 13th, 1922.
So next year would be 100 years.
Correct. Other spots have likely occurred in other parts of the planet at other times, but this was the most scorching temperature ever formerly recorded by a weather station.
Jesus.
That's crazy. So it was recorded. So, I mean, there could be more hotter spots, you know, besides people's ex-husbands or whatever. But I mean, it's just like, you think 136 degrees, that's hot. I mean, that's really hot. It's probably more bearable than it would be if you were, say, in a humid environment, like in the rainforest or something like that. That'd be just holy crap, dude. You'd be dying.
Yeah.
And I've always told people too. I've always said to them, the difference between humid and dry heat is when you take a shower, you come out, that's humid heat. That's what the southern feels like. The southern part of the country, southern part of the United States feels like, and up here too, believe it or not. And then in the more drier areas across the US, Arizona, we're talking like Washington or even good old Vegas, Nevada. That is like if you opened your oven door. That's what that feels like. So that's dry versus heat. That's crazy.
You want to hear a fun fact about rabbits?
Okay.
I've owned a rabbit, and that's how I found out I was actually allergic to them.
Their pee smells horrible.
It does. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that shit stinks.
Okay.
But rabbits can't puke.
What?
Rabbits cannot puke. Unlike cats or other animals that puke up hairballs or whatnot when they digest too much fur and other indigestible materials, rabbits are incapable of puking up. Their digestive system only goes one way. So, cute little furry critters swallow plenty of stuff to help keep things moving in the correct direction.
Well, that is pretty damn sad. I never knew that they couldn't upchuck. So weird.
But they're cute. So it makes up for it. And I had a 6-month-old male rabbit, and he was all white, except for he had eyeliner. That was the only black spots on him, was right around his eyes, and it looked like he was wearing eyeliner.
Maybe he was wearing yours.
He had the most bluest eyes ever.
Really?
And I named him Sir Fuzzy Lumpkins.
There'll be a test on this.
I had to get rid of my rabbit because I found out I was allergic to him after having him for 6 months. So about a year old, I had to get rid of the rabbit. When I first got him, nothing happened. Nothing went wrong. And then 6 months later, I started breaking out in hives every time I picked him up.
You're allergic to your own kind. Shame on it.
It's sad because I wanted a rabbit all my life, and I finally got one, and I developed an allergy.
That's crazy. You've flown before, right?
Of course.
Here's a fun fact, and I just flew the latest, or the recent, I should say, most recent time I flew was when I went to TwitchCon, and that was in 2018. That was from here to San Jose, California. They didn't service anything, but did you know you lose up to, are you ready for this fun fact? 30% of your taste buds during a airline flight.
It's weird, but I noticed when I was flying, I had Zoe. She was flying with us. We were going back and forth from Indiana to Florida, and I thought things tasted different.
It is so fun. Now, again, you lose up to 30% of your taste and your taste buds in flight. The reasoning behind it, yeah, this is a true story, true fact. The reason behind it is from what they have said, is the elevation of an airplane. Now, you figure an airplane's minimum, depending on where you're going, obviously, the further you are going, the higher up you are. But say we'll give or take 36,000 feet, typical air, distance. The air is so thin up there, everything is so cold and everything, but it really affects your taste buds. It also reduces the sensitivity of the taste buds, especially to the sweet and salty part of your, and I guess not the bitters, but unless you're tasting other people around you, like, you're bitter. 30%, yeah, because of the air around you. That's really crazy. Plus, well, airline cabin air isn't the best quality, but That's crazy. 30% of your taste buds gone. So next time if you want to order a steak or something on a flight, don't do it because you're just
The
get
steak just felt
crackers.
disappointment.
See, that's weird because now that I think about it, when I my flight, I it was the last I had flown was Jesus. It was back in 2005 or so, somewhere around there was the last time I had flown before 2018. And I don't know, it was just like when I was flying, I was a little anxious, so I didn't really want to eat anything because when I landed, I had to, after my tummy settled, I was like, food, food. I ate
Yes.
like Slimer from Ghostbusters, that infamous scene, but that was me, seriously. But 30% of it, sweet and salty foods. So they, because of the ability to smell and our ability to taste, is reduced even further because of the cabin air.
Yes.
So weird.
I mean, I never really ate air airplane food. I've had snacks and stuff,
Well, you haven't missed much.
but every time, like, because I'm a very anxious person when it comes to airplanes. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've said before, I'd rather be on a boat. I know I can swim. I know I cannot fly.
Hey, I
I
like
would
that.
I would get, obviously, I'm over 21. I'm on an airplane. I'm anxious. I would get a little Jack and Coke,
Right.
and it would taste off to me.
It does. Yeah, the Coke always
Like
tasted funky on the airplanes.
it almost tasted like a Diet Coke,
It had
which
a Yeah, it had a thin taste to it. Like there wasn't that much taste. Now that you think about it, I had pretzels and it just didn't taste like pretzels. It kind of tasted like almost like a cracker, but like a stale cracker. It just and
yeah.
it's so weird how we don't realize that until you read a fun fact like that. Like what? Really? Never thought of that. That's oof, that's crazy. Mm-mm-mm.
Well, did you know that fingernails and hair do not, in fact, grow after you die?
Now wait a minute. I always thought it did.
Despite what you may have seen on other lists of random facts and trivia, your fingernails and your hair do not continue to grow after you die.
So my nails are not gonna get dead when I'm dead?
No.
I'm not
To
gonna look
grow,
like Jesus?
to grow, your hair and nails need a steady supply of glucose.
Sugars.
Yes, which is cut off after your heart stops beating, preventing any further growth. The
Hmm.
skin around the hair follicles and nail dehydrate after death and partly retract, which can make your nails and hair appear longer, but they don't actually grow.
So all those okay, so like mummy pictures and stuff, that person basically just had long hair at the
Yeah.
time of
Hmm.
expiration, I guess you could say.
Yes.
I'd be damned. I didn't know that, but that's okay. I mean, I wouldn't want to, dig up Uncle Joey and realize like, holy crap, he's got hair all the way down to his metatarsals. Like, whoa, Joey, man, what's going on, bro? Rock on, like a rock god down there. That's crazy.
Have you ever listened to CCR, Credence Clearwater Revival?
I see a pale moon rising. Yes.
Yes, sir. They have the most number 2 Billboard hits, but have never hit number 1.
Okay, I've heard of having the number one slot, continuous or whatever like that, but they have the record for the quote number two spot.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty shitty.
John Fogerty's Swamp Rock has the odd distinction of having seen more of its singles hit number 2 on the charts without ever hitting number 1 than
Wow.
any other musical act. Between March 69 to October 70, the band scored 5 number 2 singles on the Billboard's Top 100: Proud Mary, Bad Moon Rising,
Mm-hmm.
Green River, Travel and Band, and Looking Out My Back Door.
Mm.
But never saw one of its songs get the top spot. and nobody else has done that.
I mean, I've never thought of that. I mean, obviously, people always want to shoot for number one, especially as an artist. You always want to go for that top, at least top 5, top 10 slot.
Yeah.
But to be the most common quote number 2, but never reach number 1, man. Wow. I don't know if I would cry or if I would say, hey, this is a record and we're going to hold it. I mean, sometimes a negative is a positive, especially when it comes to music and stuff. Man. Oh, man. Oh, man. I never knew that. I like Clearwater. My father actually liked them too.
Love CCR. I really do. I've been told I'm ahead of my time, or I should have been born in another era because of my music choices.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I've been told, because growing up, my dad, he was quite a bit older. He was born in 45. So, he was almost in his 50s when he had me. So, I was growing up listening to 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. So, my love for music goes back decades rather than now.
Well, see, I like a lot of different music. I have a very, obviously as a musician, I have a very broad genre love of different genres, from world music, classical, church, gospel, to rock, indie, whatevs, but except for rap and country, I really can't get into too much, but I can't hate it unless, I can't appreciate it more than I could the other ones. But that's crazy. And having a nice taste of different things like that, that's what you got to do. You got to have a different variety is,
the spice of life.
Yeah. It is. It looks like we're at the top of the hour here. We're getting towards the end of it. That's all the time we have today. Please be sure to check out our prior Megabyte podcast shows, ladies and gentlemen, found on anchor.fm/squeamish cactus. You can also find us on Spotify as well, too. Just type in the search box the Megabyte podcast. You'll be able to find us there. We're found on quite a few different places as well. Breaker, Google Podcasts, Radio Public. I mean, it's just crazy. So
if you hang out and chat, just type !podcast in either of our chats, and you'll find a list of all of the platforms that we are on.
That's true. Well, until next week, guys, have a good afternoon. We'll see you then. Take care, everybody.